Saving lives, preventing disease, and reversing disease. You are listening to Dr. Richardson on Call, brought to you in part by the Atlanta Clinic of Preventive Medicine, William Richardson, MD.
This program is not being used to make diagnosis, administer treatment, prescribe medications, or order tests. The information contained is provided as an educational service. This program is not a replacement for the relationship you have with your healthcare provider. If you have concerns about your health, please contact your healthcare provider's office immediately.
Hello, ladies and gents. This is Andre 3000, one half of the group Outcast, and you're listening to Dr. Richardson on Call on WCLK 91.9 FM.
Hi, and thank you for listening to what was at the time Dr. Richardson's very popular and informative, holistic, preventive, alternative health talk radio show designed to save lives, prevent disease, and reverse disease. Furthermore, if you are interested and in need of a holistic alternative medical doctor, you can reach Dr. Richardson at 770-419-4471. That's 770-419-4471. And be sure to visit our website at acpm.net. That's acpm.net.
Welcome to this edition of Dr. Richardson on Call. Hi, I am Dr. Richardson, William Richardson, and today I'm going to take with you a serious look at shocking, appalling health statistics, disease epidemics that's sweeping across America. We're going to take a look at the 15 root causes of disease. We're going to take a look at why your health insurance will not insure good health. And much more importantly, we're going to discuss in detail how diet, nutrition, cleansing and detoxification, exercise, immune system enhancement, and other lifestyle factors can and will reverse your disease, prevent disease, and ultimately save your life. Stay tuned for this edition of Dr. Richardson on Call, and we'll be right back.
Did you know that studies reveal that 86% of your health and well-being is totally dependent upon your lifestyle, diet, environment, exercise, relaxation, rest, and stress management? And did you know that medical care and genetics account for only 14% of your health and well-being? This means that you are 86% in control of your health through living a healthy lifestyle and building a healthy environment. Dr. Richardson and the Atlanta Clinic of Preventive Medicine specialize in reversing disease, preventing disease, and saving lives. Our full-service health clinic offers complete diagnostic evaluations and medical care, lifestyle nutritional counseling, detox programs, immune enhancement, permanent weight loss programs, IV chelation therapy, and alternative treatments for most all diseases and conditions.
Hi, I'm Dr. William Richardson, and I'm inspired and honored and truly welcome you to this edition of Dr. Richardson on Call, where the second and fourth Wednesday of every month from 6 to 7 p.m., we will take in-depth and stimulating looks at the major health issues facing our community today. My friends, the mission on this Talk Health show, Dr. Richardson on Call, is to reverse disease, prevent disease, and save lives, your life. On this show, we request and encourage and really demand your participation. We want you to ask your important questions and give your own valuable commentaries when we open up the phone lines. Again, I'm your host, Dr. William Richardson, a board-certified medical doctor with 25 years of experience. My role on this show is to facilitate our listeners in the how and why of making intelligent health choices in quality medical care, disease prevention and reversal, nutrition, diet and supplements, cleansing and detoxification, immune system enhancement, and other lifestyle factors. Also, as always, I will be joined in the studio by my brother, John Richardson, who's the writer, researcher, and executive producer for this show, to whom I owe many thanks. Thank you, Brother John.
And thank you, Brother Dr. William Richardson, and welcome out there again in Radio Land, as I, John Richardson, am also honored and inspired to be with you today on this edition of Dr. Richardson on Call. And today, Dr. Richardson, we have a very, very, very important topic to cover, and that is the causes and cures of disease. That's right. That's our subject matter today, folks. What are the causes and cures of disease? And for those of you who don't remember, we were on the air for 5 years on WCLK about 3 years ago, and we are back, Atlanta. We are glad to be back. Dr. Richardson, I'm just going to overview these questions and let you dive head first into pontificating the proponents of preventive holistic medicine through these questions and your experience. Dr. Richardson, some of these questions are going to be like this.
All right.
Why should we even be concerned about the disease epidemic that is sweeping across America? What responsibility do we have for our own quality and quantity of life? Dr. Richardson, what are the 15 root causes of disease? Folks, we're going to ask Dr. Richardson, are there any really good alternatives to drugs? In fact, we're going to ask him, is it necessary that when I get older that I be on 5 to 6 different medications and have several different major surgeries? And we're going to ask the doctor what tools he uses on his patients for health empowerment. We're going to ask the doctor, is this preventive holistic medicine supported by science and theory? And is this approach new? Has it been well researched? Are these techniques being used around the world? And the final question we're going to ask you, Dr. Richardson, assuming we can get to this, is why is it that health insurance will not, cannot, and does not ensure good health? So let's dive head first into this. What are the causes and cures of disease? Dr. Richardson, why should we even be concerned about this disease epidemic that is certainly sweeping across America? What can you tell us about this?
Well, you can look and at the health statistics in America that's shocking, appalling, and shameful. You know, America ranks really far below other Western nations with high heart disease or cardiovascular disease health problems, below average life expectancy. Actually, America has a poor infant mortality rate for being the richest country in the world and has a great epidemic of chronic degenerative disease. You see, heart and artery disease is at an all-time high, pretty much still the #1 killer in America. You've got millions of people, I'm talking about 1.5 million heart attacks a year, 100 million with high blood pressure, plenty of millions with high cholesterol. Total cost of that's about $400 billion. Then cancer is at all-time high. It's the #2 killer. 50% of American citizens will get cancer by the age of 75. And you got Alzheimer's, dementia, fibroids, arthritis, diabetes, serious depression, and schizophrenia for that matter. And then the #1 disease group coming to the doctor's office besides pain is digestive disorders, constipation, indigestion, Crohn's, colitis, and hemorrhoids, and all that sort of thing. And then, we have an endless number of diseases, headaches, hepatitis. Many people come to my office with 10 complaints, and they want them eradicated and without drugs. We're talking about even impotency, multiple sclerosis, and whatnot. Also, I want to acknowledge my other guest, Phil Oliver. I want to say greetings and hello to him, and thank you for coming.
Hello to you. It's good to be here. Excited about what you're doing in the community, excited about your practice, and look forward to working with you.
Always, Phil.
Yeah, we're glad to have Phil here. And this is John Richardson, co-host with Dr. William Richardson. So, Dr. Richardson, we could get cancer, we could get cardiovascular disease, we could get Alzheimer's, we could get arthritis, diabetes. In fact, we have a little flyer in the office, and it says, which disease do you want?
Right, that's
which
right.
disease you want.
Check it off.
And there's a whole lot of them on there. So now, folks, that we've established that there are a lot of chronic degenerative illnesses we can look forward to, let's ask Dr. Richardson, really, what responsibility do we have for our own quality and quantity of life? What kind of function do we have in this, Dr. Richardson?
Right.
What are the factors that affect this? What do you have to say to us on
we have an extremely big role.
Yes.
And that means a lot of the responsibility falls on us. In fact, 65% of whether you have health or disease is related to your lifestyle. And that means what you eat, what you drink, your attitudes, that sort of thing. And 21% is related to environment. So you add those two things up, that's 86% we're in control. only 14% are related to routine medical care and genetics and whatnot. So you're 86% control of your health. And if you look at improper lifestyle, lack of exercise, sleep deprivation, faulty dietary habits, environmental pollution, yeast, candida, parasite infestations, overuse and misuse of drugs, vitamin mineral deficiencies, imbalanced emotions and mental states, they're about 86% major contributors to health problems.
Yeah, certainly. So, in other words, we have a tremendous role in our own health.
We really do. Absolutely.
And that's not what's being told when we go to a doctor many times.
That's because that's not what they're being told in medical school.
Okay.
And when I was in medical school over 25 years ago, I started bringing up certain aspects of health and was basically shunned and sent to the dean's office just for asking questions about health. Then I noticed what patients were eating, and I was not very happy with that, so I started studying many things on my own.
That's right. And folks, I just want you to know this is the Preventive Holistic Health Show with Dr. Richardson, and we're going to have a tremendous guest coming up for you in our second segment. And you all know who this man is. I could go down the list with his credits, but his name is enough. Dick Gregory will be with us in our second segment to pontificate more on this subject. And Dr. Richardson, we're going to continue with some of these questions just to break open this subject on the causes and cures of disease. Dr. Richardson, are there any really good alternatives to drugs? And the second question is it really necessary when I get older that I be on 5 to 6 or 7 or 8 or 15 different medications like we have some people, or have several major surgeries? Tell us about the drugs and the surgeries and getting older and all this stuff.
Well, yeah, really there are a lot of good alternatives to drugs. It seems that the drug companies have a big role in the ignorance and I guess the medical schools as well. I believe that about 67% of all drugs come from herbs, and the herbs have a lot less side effects by and large to a great extent. And many times I'm able to slowly replace or sometimes acutely replace drugs with herbs, and not to mention lifestyle examples. Now, as far as whether people are meant to be on 5 or 6 different medications, I know they're not. We were not born with a medication deficiency when we were born on the planet Earth. The truth of the matter is we were meant to die healthy.
Yes.
We were meant to die healthy, and it is abnormal for us to be on 5 and 6 drugs.
That's right. And the segue to the next question, Dr. Richardson, well, what are the 15 root causes of disease, this Western epidemic of chronic degenerative illnesses? Can you give us a summary on what are the causes of disease? Because really, if we have the causes, then we can affect the cure because we can change those causes.
That's right. Chronic constipation and toxic bowel.
So the bowel piece, yes.
Lack of good physical exercise, internal, external, poor digestion and absorption. American dietary hazards, and I mean like there's a great new movie called Oversize Me. Have you seen it? Anybody seen it?
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's about a guy who's on McDonald's diet for a whole month and he really gets sick. And that's American dietary hazards.
Right.
Lack of live, uncooked food in the diet. That's because of the fiber and whatnot and enzymes. And then vitamin, mineral, nutrient deficiencies, food allergies, infestations with pathogens, candida, and things we don't even know of, which we'll get into at a later show. Poor water drinking habits, liver weakness, environmental pollution, neuroimmunology, that's the mind-body connection, adrenal stress problems, sleep dysfunction, and infectious diseases.
So when folks come into our office, that's what we look for. That's what we analyze, and that's what we affect the change in.
Right.
And then it affects their disease state such that it may eliminate it or minimize it. Is that correct,
That's
Dr.
right.
Richardson?
That's exactly right.
Okay. Well, Dr. Richardson, are we talking about hocus pocus here? Is there science and philosophy behind this holistic preventive medicine? Has it been around for a while? Has it been well researched? Tell us about that as a physician, a medical doctor, and a researcher yourself.
Yeah, what we're talking about is the old age, not the new age. The so-called new age is a copy of the old age. first of all, that they had in ancient Egypt or Kemet. What we're talking about is a science here. Life extension medicine, free radical, molecular medicine, clinical nutritional biochemistry, applied toxicology and immunology, preventive environmental medicine, psychoneuroimmunology.
Get technical on them now.
Okay, but what we're talking about is a holistic way of living.
Yep.
A strong vision of real healthcare reform goes beyond mere disease management and suppressing symptoms and more drugs and crisis intervention. We're talking about you have to have, and America must have a more broad, open-minded perspective that combines the best of both traditional classical medicine
That's right.
and holistic medical preventive techniques.
That's right. That's right.
And there's many boards now. I go to medical meetings with groups of scientists. In fact, I'm going this weekend to talk to all the African-American doctors at the Georgia Medical State Conference, and we're going to be talking about that to them.
Well, folks, I hope you're enjoying this show. We're just getting warmed up here. We're talking about the cause and cures of disease. And what I like to do now is open up the phone lines. We're going to invite you to give us a call. The number here is 880-9255, 880-9255. We want you, the listener, to get involved in our discussion today. And we want your questions and comments on the causes and cures of disease. Folks, you can call us on your home phone, business phone, car phone, cell phone, someone else's phone, a pay phone, CB radio, or walkie-talkie. Look, just be sure to call us and let your thoughts be heard. Call us in the studio right now at 404-880-9255. That's 404-880-9255. We're going to continue on with a few more questions, and then we're going to start taking your calls. Give us a call right now in the studio at 880-9255 with a 404 prefix. Thank you. Dr. Richardson, when folks call in, be sure to have your questions and comments efficiently arranged so that we can get to you quickly. Dr. Richardson, what tools do you give patients when they come into your office for health empowerment?
Well, and that's what we do is empower the patient. And we do proper diet, cleansing and detoxification, immune enhancement, really good proper exercise, internal and external, stress management, support groups, spiritual life, emotional healing, and then we want them to read and study.
Okay.
And we really focus on ending and replacement of bad habits and weaning patients off of prescription and non-prescription medications as much as possible.
All right. That's the health empowerment plan. All right, Dr. Richardson, one final question before we start taking calls. Folks, the number here is 404-880-9255, 404-880-9255. Come on and get involved with this show. The causes and cures of disease is the topic. We're sure you have something to say about this. Dr. Richardson, one final question for you. Why is it that health insurance will not, cannot, and does not ensure good health? Isn't that a misnomer? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the truth of the matter is 80% of healthcare costs are spent the last 2 weeks in life. And the health insurance industry has really no real wellness orientation and has costs that are racing wildly out of control, which means they'll make more money. It pays very little, if anything, for real patient education, and for the most part does not pay for true preventive, alternative, or complementary medical techniques like nutritional counseling, weight loss programs, cigarette abuse, heavy metal testing, some of the more exotic things that we do in our clinic. So that's right. They're not covered by your health insurance plan, and these could be life-saving preventive techniques. And they just cover medication, surgery, and hospitalization.
All
and in fact, Phil Oliver and I have been fighting that for years with sickle cell patients, and we've been looking into these things.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Richardson. Well, we're going to get the callers involved. We have a bank of callers lining up here. The number here is 404-880-9255, 404-880-9255. And our first caller is Suzanne, and she's in Atlanta, and we're going to take her call right now. Suzanne, you're on Dr. Richardson on call. Thank you for calling.
All right. Thank you. Well, he's already answered one of my questions,
Good.
which was
Okay.
the insurance piece.
Okay.
And I guess I'd like to find out where he's located. And since insurance doesn't cover, perhaps, his services, how does one afford this? Even though, yes, it's for our health and all of that, but we're living in a real world.
Right. We are located in Buckhead, and if you keep listening, we'll give our information, and you'll be able to get in contact with us at will. Dr. Richardson, why don't you answer this question about what her life is worth?
Well,
yeah, I know what
that's
you're saying,
the way
but
to
how
look
do you
at
get
it.
started with
Well,
this,
what we do, people usually come for an office visit and we analyze the situation. And then we do have an educational program with books and videos. And we encourage most people to get our program, our lifestyle program. And then you pay as you go. And I think it's affordable when you look at it. Now, if you look at everything I could do with you in 3 years and you're going to pay it all up front, that may be a lot of money. But just taking it step by step could be a very wise move. And we've done it lots of times and helped lots of
you
people.
kind of look at a person and decide what needs to be addressed initially, and
Exactly.
then
That's right.
from worse to not as bad.
Right. I mean, we analyze the situation, and then there's a lot of things people don't even know about themselves, and we try to reveal, and we try to start helping them the day they come in the office, frankly.
Okay. And do you do the iris reading, I believe it is?
Yes.
Iris
Yeah,
eye
actually,
reader?
we have a chiropractic doing it who does it excellently and actually studied with the #1 iridologist in the country.
All right, caller, we're going to have to go.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling. The number here, 404-880-9255, 404-880-9255, and we're now going to go to Jordan, and he's in Atlanta. Jordan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you for calling Dr. Richardson on call. What do you have to say today?
I was wondering what you can do to naturally cleanse your body.
Good question.
Well, there's a number of ways. I mean, naturally means like drinking water, eating lots of raw foods, because that's going to give you roughage, which is going to push everything out. I remember one of my friends named Bilal. He wanted to clean himself out, so he got a 25-pound bag of carrots, and he just started eating the whole carrots, and the fiber eventually started the cleansing process. Then you have herbs like psyllium. Then you have lower bowel cleansers. In fact, Phil has some great Oliver's herbs that really work well to clean you out. And then there's other great herbal combinations that you can use. You have food, and then you have colonics, of course, and that's something that we do at the clinic. Harriet Harris does colonics, and then massage. And then you have mental cleansing through meditation and prayer and all that sort of thing.
Thank you. One more quick question, if I can.
Go ahead.
What can you do to increase your sexual stamina?
Good question.
Exercise for a male would be very important. That's certainly been shown clinically that if you exercise, and then of course there are herbals and cleansing that you can do, and then there's chelation therapy, which can clean your arteries out that feed into the phallus. So there's a number of ways, and then also the art of holding back and not always giving up the seed.
Caller, we're going to have to run. Thank you for calling. Next,
Thank
we're
you,
going.
Doctor.
All right. Thank you for calling. We're going to go next to Nate, and he's in Decatur. Nate, you're on Dr. Richardson on call. What do you have to say today?
Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I have a two-part question. How does one get started with a holistic lifestyle? Is there a step-by-step book that I can buy or a class that I can take? And also, is there a class that I can take to get certified to teach it as well?
Sure.
I'm a teacher. I'm a martial arts instructor, and I have several of my clients. Well, I teach children mostly, but the parents. I have several parents who are, like you said, loaded with drugs. Man, I have one parent who's on 16 different drugs.
Exactly. Yeah. I think that encouraging, first of all, if you're an instructor, you may want to start a mellow class for some of those people. Just sitting there, maybe just sit there talking and doing breathing exercises is something you can start with them, something that you already know about being a martial arts instructor. I would highly encourage you to come in and take my personal lifestyle class so that I can give you lots of tools right there that you can spread out to your universe. And then, of course, there's like Dr. Clayton's naturopathic school, and then there's other schools that you can get to just go in magazines and Sevananda and look at those. Okay? Look at my website, too, when you have a chance. I'll give you other ideas.
which is what? Because I'm going to have to turn you off real shortly because I do have to teach a class.
Okay, good. A is www.acpm.net. acpm.net.
All right, folks. Thank you for calling. And we have more callers on the line, but right now we're going to have to take a break. This show is Dr. Richardson on Call. The subject matter today, what are the causes and cures of disease? And guess what, folks? We have a tremendous guest when we come back from the break. His name is Dick Gregory. We'll give him his appropriate credits when we get back from this break. We appreciate you joining us today. The number here to get into the studio today to talk to Dick Gregory and Dr. Richardson and John Richardson is 404-880-9255. That's 404-880-9255, and we will be right back.
Many people are sick and tired of seeking help from conventional medical doctors who may see you for 5 minutes, just hand you another prescription, run more tests, or may know very little about diet, lifestyle, detoxification, immune system enhancement, or environmental pollution. The Atlantic Clinic of Preventive Medicine specializes in reversing disease, preventing diseases, and saving lives. For more information on Atlantic Clinic of Preventive Medicine and Dr. Richardson, online at www.acpm.net.
Hi, and thank you for listening to what was at the time Dr. Richardson's very popular and informative holistic, preventive, alternative health talk radio show, designed to save lives, prevent disease, and reverse disease. Furthermore, if you are interested and in need of a holistic alternative medical doctor, you can reach Dr. Richardson at 770-419-4471. That's 770-419-4471. And be sure to visit our website at acpm.net. That's acpm.net.
All right, folks, we're back from the break. This is John Richardson, your co-host, along with Dr. William Richardson, your host. And you're listening to Dr. Richardson on Call. And we thank you for listening to us today. And we also want you to stay tuned to Jazz 91.9 FM WCLK for Jazz at Sundown with Renee Williams at 7 p.m. And folks, without further ado, we're going to invite our guests in on the show. There's many things you could say about this man. His name is Dick Gregory, and he's an outstanding comedian. He's a tremendous health activist. That's why we have him on this show, among other things. He's had numerous appearances on TV and radio. He's author of many books, a successful health product line, supplement line, internationally acclaimed and known, and he's been into our office. He's a philanthropist and a civil rights activist, and so on. We're talking about Dick Gregory. Dr. Richardson, why don't you welcome Dick Gregory here?
Dick Gregory, we want to welcome you to the show, brother.
God bless you, my brother. Peace to you. And let me just first say, what a pleasure it is to know that in an insane nation where excesses to the negative is running rampant, there is a voice. And I don't know if the people in the Atlanta area know how fortunate they are to have a show like this. That when you stop and think about, money is not power and education is not power, but information is power. And if you have bad information, you have bad power. And so I just say thank you. I've listened to your first half hour, and I'm just thrilled, just excited to know. I mean, to the extent, that if I didn't know what I know about health and had me some problems, I would think about moving down there. So I got rid of whatever condition just so I could be close to this type of knowledge and love. What comes through what you all are doing is the love and kindness and the gentle peace. And so again, let me just say thank you for this show. And for those of you who's listening, it is up to you now to see to it that you will always have this show, because there are just literally millions of people who don't have the money. I mean, most all their money they spent on getting sick. There's nothing left to get well with. But when you have someone that can say, look, change this lifestyle here, do this over here, I mean, the 3 causes of death. It's going to shock some of you, because you want to believe what NBC and CBS tell you. Drugs, homicide, alcohol. No, the number one cause of death in America is sleep deprivation. The number two cause of death in America is dehydration. And the number three cause of death in America is lack of physical fitness.
Wow.
All three of them are free. All of them are gifts from God. But living in a system that totally deprogram you to believing that you have the power to change your physical health, your faith and destiny. And for instance, it's hard to believe that prescription medicine is the third leading cause of death in the United States.
That's a shame.
I mean, we would like to believe that it's homicide, that it's drug. No. And so when you stop and think about the adverse reaction to drugs, of legal drugs, it's 5 times more likely to kill you than an automobile accident or AIDS.
Wow.
This is kind of, when you stop and think about every year in this country, 2 million people is admitted to hospitals solely due to adverse reaction to prescription drugs, and 180,000 of those who's admitted die. And
That's
so
right.
when you stop and think about, that I live in a country where I behave myself, I do what they tell me to do, go to the doctor, get examined, take your medicine, but nobody tells me some of the problems I can have. For those of y'all, when you get through listening to the show, go get your toothpaste, and then I'll tell you what, because a lot of you, well, I don't use toothpaste, I use, no. Go to the store, you don't even have to spend no money, and pick up a Crest. You don't have to buy it, just pick it up and read the small print. And you see where it say, do not swallow. They don't put that on cocaine. And then the last sentence say, in case you do swallow, contact the Poison Control Center. Now, that means an ordinary medical doctor is not qualified to help you.
Got to bypass him and go to poison control.
We give this to our children. How many people would come in the house and see a child laying on the floor, sick, with a tube of toothpaste next to him, and assume whatever it is comes from the toothpaste, because a lot of children, the sweetness in toothpaste, they think it's candy. And so when you stop and think, in this country, 700, y'all ready for this? $700 billion will be spent on health care this year. We're the mightiest nation in the world. Supposed to be spiritual Christian nation, more education than anybody on the planet, this country, and yet 30 million Americans have serious arthritis. 13 million Americans have serious diabetes. 80 million Americans suffer from allergies. 64% of the population is obese. Now, that's not counting overweight.
That's right.
10 million Americans suffer from asthma. 50 million Americans suffer from chronic alcoholism. 15 million Americans have insomnia. 60 million Americans is addicted to tobacco. 1,000 Americans die every day from cigarettes. Now, that's about to take second place, because right now they looking at, in the next 6 or 7 or 8 months, obesity will be the number one cause of death, and cigarettes will take the second slot. And so when you stop and think, who would have ever believed? I was born in 1932. I never thought I'd live to see the day that cancer would be the number one cause of death.
That's amazing.
Among children.
That's amazing.
I mean, when you stop and think about, when I was a little boy, we looked at cancer as something that old folks got.
Right.
And so when you stop and think, and then the other piece is, that, you got a government that don't help you. I mean, when September the 11th hit, the Homeland Security declared pharmaceutical companies as part of the national defense. That means you can't sue a pharmaceutical company now. That means that they can do things to you that Hitler would be ashamed to do. How many of you all are aware that the new flu shots that's coming out for this year have a mercury base as a preservative. Now, you can go in the ghetto and find some folks that can't even read or write. They know something wrong with mercury.
Right, that's right.
But you got the United States Bureau of Health is letting these thugs put mercury in the flu shots as a preservative. But wait a minute. Here's what happened for those of y'all that keep the records or punch up stuff on the internet. I was stunned because I had just finished doing a medical convention in Los Angeles. I got on the plane to fly to Europe, and I picked up all my papers, and I get on the plane, and I had just finished talking about the mercury in the flu shots. I get on the plane, and this is something you all can pull up. The Los Angeles Times, Friday, April the 2nd, 2004, front page headline, U.S. won't alert parents, comma, doctors on mercury in flu shots for kids. And then it says hundreds of thousands of infants and toddlers who get flu shots starting this fall could be exposed to a mercury-laced preservative. Wait a minute now. It's not bad enough that they put it in, but then the Center for Disease Control released this whatever they released, and said, we will not alert the parents. In other words, you parents will not be told that you're fixing to give that toddler a flu shot that has mercury in it, nor will they tell the doctors. So you have doctors that'll be giving out these flu shots, and they're not even aware that those flu shots is laced with mercury.
Dick Gregory,
yes.
You know.
Also, you're listening to Dr. Richardson on Call on WCLK 91.9 FM, and we have today's guest, Dick Gregory. We're honored and inspired to have him on here. And Dr. Richardson, you had...
Yeah, I wanted to ask you a question.
Yes, please.
You know, when a lot of people, I find, they don't even think that they have alternatives. Like, I really love it when you, for instance, boycott Coca-Cola or something, because you naturally do it by your lifestyle. But what to you would be, for our listening audience, what would you think in your experiences are the best way to prevent something like the flus and allergies, those two things, because allergies are hitting, and then the flus, because that's up on people's minds?
Well, it's by boosting your immune system, and that's by increasing your water, increasing your rest, and increasing your physical fitness. And eating plenty of fruit. Remember, the three strongest animals in the jungle is the gorilla, the elephant, and the rhinoceros, and they don't eat nothing but fruit.
That's right.
And so, and so the other thing, what you mentioned, you see, it's hard for me to believe that you can tell me about alternatives, because you see, I'm not doing what I'm doing because I want to hurt myself. My mama gave me sugar, man. My mama's the one that took me to get a shot. My mama's the one that taught me that getting sick is normal. So all the ones here, you going to step out and tell me getting sick is not normal.
Right.
My school gave me barbecue ribs. My church. So everything
Those
that I
you
love
trust.
and everything loved me.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I woke up in the morning when I was a little boy. I could smell that coffee, that bacon and them eggs. And now I get grown, and I find out all this stuff is killing me.
Right.
And so consequently, now, so then we say, well, wait a minute. How come it's killing me faster now than it killed my mom and dad? Well, they back then, as bad as it was, it didn't have all the hormones in it.
That's right.
It didn't have all of the preservatives in it. I mean, they shoot up cattle, beef, and chickens and stuff with hormones to keep them from getting certain type of disease and to make them grow fast. And so consequently...
Yes, yeah.
Let me just say this. Let's say that you and I, Doc, are just John Q. Square, right? Right out of Harvard University.
Right.
And we're going to go to Europe and go out. We got to get some shots.
Right.
Now, do you know how many people that's not aware that they have two types of shots? See, one of the things when I heard you talking about, you know, the infant mortality rate for America is lower than, infant mortality rate for poor folks in America
Yes.
You know.
That's correct.
Queen Elizabeth type folks, they children ain't dying. Give me a break.
Folks, you're listening to Dr. Richardson on Call on WCLK 91.9 FM. We're talking about the causes and cures of disease, and we have a very special guest. You guessed it, Dick Gregory. All you do is have to hear his voice.
And so when you go get that shot to go take a trip, or a shot to protect you against, different diseases, there's two types of shots. As bad as shots are for you, there's even worse thing they do. The people in low-income areas and the people who don't know no better, they make your shots out of animal culture. Now, what is this? In other words, I can give you a shot to protect you from such and such a virus, protect you from TB, yellow fever. But out of animal culture, the animal has 10,000 different things that you don't have, that your immune system. So even if y'all going to reduce yourself down to getting that, you do two things. Find out if it's animal culture or human culture. If you're going to take them, don't take anything made from animal culture. And two, there's a federal regulation, thank God for the folks out here in the street that forced them. They have a VAT number. In other words, do not take your shot the same day you go to the doctor. Find out what VAT it came out of, and find out the 800 number you call, and they'll tell you everybody who have died from that VAT, everybody who have been paralyzed. You see, here's what shots are. Immune shots, they say, we'll give you out of every 2 million shots to keep you from getting, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yellow fever, chickenpox.
Yellow fever. 300,000 will die. Another 100,000 will be paralyzed. They say, well, that's worth it. Out of 2 million, that's not a big price to pay. Except they can't tell you which 200,000 going to die. And so this way, you can have this VAT number, and you can tell by calling this 800 number how many people out of that VAT. For those of you all that will pick up on your internet or go to the library and get the New York Times, Sunday, May the 19th, 2002, page 22, and I was stunned to read this in the New York Times. Workers complained that Coca-Cola sent old soda to poor neighborhood. Now, that headline really don't tell you what it is.
Could you repeat that, Dick?
Workers contend that Coca-Cola sent old soda to poor neighborhoods. Now, let me just break down what this story is. I didn't know that soda pop had a date on it, an expiration date. And when you get past that expiration date, those chemicals in the soda pop break down into a mild poison. Coca-Cola was taking the expired soda pop out of white stores, taking them to a warehouse in northern Dallas, and redating them and sending it into the black community.
I used to live in northern Dallas.
Now,
that's not surprising.
This case is in federal court now. Thank God to some black and white workers that said, we're not going to do this no more.
That's interesting.
And so what I'm saying is, I don't believe that drinking one of them Cokes will kill you. But is Coca-Cola the only company in the Fortune 500 that's trifling? Suppose there's pharmaceutical companies that's doing this. Suppose there are certain drugs that doctors prescribe for me that after a certain date they lost all their use. Suppose that's sent into the black community like those Cokes. Well, let me tell you what's wrong with that. If you're my doctor and I come to you and you subscribe something to me and I'm not aware, and I'm not saying this happened, but I don't see why it wouldn't. And I'm getting some medicine that done lost all its use. My doctor, who don't know that, would assume I'm not taking the medicine. So then when the doctor say, well, let me ask you about some of the side effects. When you take this medicine, do your left eye blink? No. Do your nose itch on the right? No. So when he asks me some of the side effects, I don't have it, it's only natural for that doctor to assume that I'm not following orders. And so,
Mr. Gregory?
Yes.
We got somebody in our audience that has a question on the phone. Can we break in and see what they have to say and let you pontificate with them a little bit here. All right. Folks, the number here is 880-9255, 404-880-9255. You're listening to Dr. Richardson on Call on WCLK 91.9 FM. And we're going to go to Jeff in Conyers. Jeff, are you there?
Yes, I am.
You're listening to Dr. Richardson on Call, and we've got Dick Gregory with us. What do you have to say?
Jeff, to you and the family.
Yes.
You say again, Dr. Gregory?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I have just been listening, and just thank you so much. I've listened to you over the years and have been very appreciative of what you brought forth and using your God-given talents to educate us out here. And kudos also to Dr. Richardson as well for adhering to what God has inspired you to do.
Thank you.
My question to either of you really is, from a holistic viewpoint, what would be a game plan for someone suffering from lupus?
Doctor, why don't you take care of that?
Sure. Lupus is a autoimmune disorder, okay, where you actually have antibodies that attack yourself. A lot of times it's triggered by stress, first of all. So what I found is in America, compared to, let's say, the pristine, ancient pre-colonial Africa, there's a lot of stress. So what we need to do is control the stress through proper love, counseling, understanding. You need sleep. You need nothing to stimulate the immune system. I'd find out what food allergies you have and get rid of them. A lot of times you can just get rid of wheat and eggs and milk and all that sort of stuff. Then you got to look whether you have leaky gut syndrome. We do a test for that called intestinal permeability study. You got to look for infestations with candida in the colon and bacterial imbalances, and also heavy metal problems that we can pull out through things like chelation. But again, great diet, sleep, rest, meditation, positive thinking.
The basics.
The very basic things. If you're a sister trying to look like you're from another side of the planet, you may want to stop doing that with your hair. You may want to go natural, and because that's stress producing.
All right, we have another caller.
Phil has a comment.
There's one research article that I recently read where the omega-3 fatty acids are kind of playing a key role with lupus. So I would like flaxseed oil boards or those types of oils can be very, supportive of that, because the old folks used to give us fish oil.
Right.
And we didn't have a lot of lupus back in those days.
No.
So it's just like Dick was saying.
All right, let's run to another call. Brian in Atlanta, thank you for calling Dr. Richardson on Call.
How you doing?
Good.
My name is Brian Johnson. I was calling to find out, I had a heart attack last April.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about 44 years old. I was 43 and I had the heart attack, and I was told that it was my cholesterol is why I had the heart attack. I had like 95% blockage of my left coronary artery.
So young,
And I was taking Lipitor, and I stopped because I was having side effects. I was having like spasms in my leg and.
Right. Well, what foods have?
Sorry, go ahead.
What foods have cholesterol in them? You have to ask, and I would eliminate those foods, and that's meat and meat products. And you can really reverse your heart disease if you really pay attention to that. And I would encourage you to get in contact with us at our website.
We'll answer that more when we get off the air. Mr. Gregory, what do you have to say about that?
Let me just say this here. I have 10 children.
Yep.
And so if you picked up the paper, heard on the news today that Dick Gregory was attacked by his children. Now, I don't make a difference if they was right or I was wrong. The first thing you say, Jesus, what did Dick Gregory do to make his children attack him? Well, think about a heart attack. What do one do to make your heart attack you? I mean, you're attacked by my heart. I mean, this is a heart that's been with you since day one.
Yeah.
What did
That's a dang good question. I like that.
to make this precious heart of mine turn against me? See, a stroke is nothing but a heart attack. It takes place above the neck.
Mr. Gregory, we're going to have to go for a break. So, folks, hang on. We're going to come back from the break and have more show here. And really, we want to thank Mr. Gregory and just invite him back again. We're going to have another tiny segment of the show left. And we want to thank you very much, Mr. Gregory, for joining us today. And if you can hang on, we have some more business to do. We're just inspired and honored to have you on our show. This man could go on for hours and hours. I hope you folks realize that. The number here is 880-9255 with a 404 prefix. Join us in a minute. We'll be back. Thank you.
Hi, and thank you for listening to what was at the time Dr. Richardson's very popular and informative holistic, preventive, alternative health talk radio show, designed to save lives, prevent disease, and reverse disease. Furthermore, if you are interested and in need of a holistic alternative medical doctor, you can reach Dr. Richardson at 770-419-4471. That's 770-419-4471. And be sure to visit our website at acpm.net. That's acpm.net.
All right, folks. We're back from the break. This is John Richardson, your co-host, and Dr. Richardson, your host, and you're listening to Dr. Richardson on Call. And the number here is 404-880-9255, 404-880-9255. Give us a call. We maybe squeeze your call in and get the calls that we have here. And we've had the guest today, Dick Gregory, and he has talked to us as Dr. Richardson on this subject of holistic preventive medicine. The number here is 404-880-9255, Dr. Richardson.
Yeah, I want to welcome everyone back and thank you for allowing us the opportunity to share good health with you.
All right, and we want folks to know that at 7 p.m., Jazz at Sundown will be coming up with Renee. And that's going to be at 7 p.m., Jazz at Sundown. So be sure to keep on listening to WCLK and get some of that good jazz after our talk show. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this show about holistic preventive medicine and the causes of cures of disease.
Yes, we want to welcome you that every second and fourth Wednesday we'll be on the show, Dr. Richardson on Call, and want you to look forward to that in the future starting in July.
Also, we want to mention there's a church health ministry that we have, and basically the question is how many more church pastors, assistant pastors, administrators, members, choir members, and family and friends need to be stricken with this epidemic that we're talking about. We're talking about cancer, heart attacks, strokes, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and so many things like this. And our contention is that the answers to these health problems are explicitly found in the Bible, have been proven and well established by science, and have thousands and thousands of success testimonials. So there's a church health wellness project that we're focusing on with an hour-and-a-half lecture by Dr. William Richardson with a message from a biblical perspective. So again, this show will be on every second and fourth Wednesday, so be sure to tell your friends and associates that we will be on the air with Dr. Richardson on Call. We're going to have every subject from A to Z that you can imagine. We'll be covering them in detail, and we'll always have a super-powered guest like the likes of Dick Gregory, Dr. Richardson.
That's right, and we want to encourage you to contact us if you have any ideas about the show, something you'd like to see, any particular guests you'd like to have on, just give us a call. I want to tell you about one of my favorite patients, Mr. S.M. He came to us, he had like 3 open heart surgeries and was getting pain all the time. And with the preventive holistic techniques that we're talking about, he was able to totally give up all 7 of his medications, totally eradicate his heart pain, never need surgery again. And we are going to give you testimonials from our experience and others about this holistic natural healing phenomenon.
That's right. Well, folks, again, you've been listening to Dr. Richardson on Call, and we're going to begin to wrap it up here. And we invite you to tune into our next show. The next show is going to be high blood pressure, overcoming high blood pressure without drugs. That show will air July 14th. So be sure to tune in July 14th. That will be our next show. We also want to remind you that you are listening to Dr. Richardson on Call, brought to you in part by the Atlantic Clinic of Preventive Medicine, DetoxMovement.com, Omnitech International Institute, Fruits, Vegetables, Herbs, Health Food Store, Harrison's Dinner Club, Loving It Live, Raw Foods Restaurant. And also, this show could not come to you unless we give production credits here in terms of the executive producer, John Richardson, producer, Harriet Harris. Thank you, Harriet. Call screener, Tracy Ross, production manager, Lorenzo Kemp, and of course, director of talk show radio at WCLK, Reggie Hicks. So, Dr. Richardson, we've had a pleasure today. We have Dick Gregory and you, sir, to help discuss holistic preventive medicine.
And we want to tell everybody good night and have a safe time until we see you July 14th.
For Dr. Richardson, this is John Richardson signing off on WCLK 91.9 FM. We'll see you July 14th.